When I was in Israel, an Air Force general told me Hezbollah's got a bigger army than Hamas, more rockets, more missiles, and they're starting to use them against northern Israel right now. When I was in Israel last time, I had an IDF guy, an expert in northern Israel, take me to the border of Syria and Lebanon. And we were in some observation posts right on the fence, and we could see Hezbollah on the other side. And one of the things I was told later by an Air Force general was that Hezbollah is a much bigger army than Hamas. They have a lot more missiles, long range. Short range, a lot more rockets, a lot of tunnels, and a lot of soldiers because they're much closer to Iran. And Hezbollah is an Iranian managed, financed, trained, and directed terror organization. And I said, my goodness, I'm looking right at them, which means they're looking right at me. Are you worried? And he said to me, we have the intelligence. We know where they are. We know where the rockets are. And if a war ever starts and they push us enough by firing enough rockets at it, we will wipe out southern Lebanon. And it seems like Israel is this close to that right now. Every single day, I'm looking at the numbers, Israel is getting hit by dozens and dozens of rockets being fired into northern Israel out of Lebanon, in the south of Lebanon, where Hezbollah has taken over. Now, I know your favorite organization is the UN, and I apologize in advance for being critical of the United Nations, because I know they're all about peace, and so are you. The Litani River in southern Lebanon is supposed to be the demarcation line. Hezbollah, under UN resolution, I think it's 1701, are supposed to be north of that river. And Israel was guaranteed that by the UN. Do you realize all of southern Lebanon is Hezbollah? All you see is Hezbollah flags, Hezbollah troops, Hezbollah trucks. If they tell the UN to jump, the UN says how high. If they tell the UN to move and not look, the UN moves and doesn't look. Literally, the UN is the enemy of Israel and the supporter of Hezbollah, which is the terror arm, the main terror arm of the big Satan. And the big Satan's not the United States, it's Iran.
Yeah, 100%. You know what, Barry, there was the leader, one of the leaders were just killed in Lebanon as well, right? And one of the Hezbollah leaders.
Uh-huh.
And now they're furious about it. So why aren't they furious about them trying to kill all the Israelis? And the United Nations,
I absolutely love your question. It ought to be like, no, that's not true, is it? Well, it is. You're 100% right.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like, it's you know, a little common sense will go a long way for these people, but they don't have a little any longer. And when it comes to the United Nations, the anti-Israeli United Nations, that's the same one we're talking about here.
Oh, yeah.
And I love throwing this into these pro-Hamas Palestinian terror supporters all over X on social media, where they keep saying that Israel is actually Palestine and it's not Israel. And I said, well, why don't we just look at the United Nations Charter? You know, the same United Nations that hates Israel. Let's just go see what they say about it. And every time I bring that up, Barry, they shut down because they know exactly what I'm talking about. Because even the anti-Israel United Nations recognize Israel as a state, but they don't recognize a Palestine because Palestine does not exist.
It's never been a country, period.
Doesn't exist, right.